Alrighty, folks. So, in today's psychological lecture, this will be the 14th episode. And in today's episode, I'm going to essentially allow or show you guys, not allow, but show you guys specifically what you need to do to fix your psychology, right? So, this is going to be a full fledged dedicated video to fixing your psychology and your trading psychology. Now, one or actually two things I want to talk about before we jump into anything is the first being if you do not have the ability to sit down and be attentive throughout this entire video, you don't deserve to make money, right? So I'm going to be giving you absolute sauce and I'm going to literally possibly change your life in this one video. But the one thing I need from you guys in order for this to truly work is for you to sit down the entire time without going on your phone, without scrolling TikTok, without pausing anything. Simply sit down, be attentive. And the second thing I need from you is to take notes specifically because this video is going to be personally customable to you and your psychological issues, right? So throughout all these things, I will basically be able to solve all your issues firsthand, but those are the two things I need out of you. And if you lack one of those two things, either your two solutions are to come back and save this video for later. That's your first solution. Your second solution is just to not watch this video, right? Because I truly want the best out of all my audience and I truly want you guys to be and have the ability to change. So if you can't do those two things, please click off this video or come back later and watch it. But if you can, awesome, right? So the first thing we need to identify, right? Listen up and listen very carefully because this is going to be the most important part of the entire video. The first thing we need to identify is what is our individual problems. Now, some problems I can name off the top of my head for you guys: overtrading, overleveraging, greed, heavily emotional, specifically while in a position. It just, you need to specifically define what problems you have. And this is the thing, I see a lot of people not defining what problems they are individually facing. And it's like, if I asked you, hey, viewer, how are you going to solve this problem? And you didn't even know you had that problem, how do you expect to fix it yourself, right? It's like you guys don't think about these things or taking them into account at all, right? If I came to you and I was like, hey, what's the solution for X? And you have no clue what X is, how are you going to fix it, right? So please, this is going to be your first notes or the first thing you're going to write down on the paper. List and jot down, right? And you guys can pause this video if you need to, but list and jot down what problems you are facing right now, right? Identify what individual issues you have, right? So overtrading, over leveraging, having and being greedy, um, forcing entries that weren't there, right? There's just so many things. You need to just identify what your individual problems are so that I can help you create a solution. But if you don't do that, how am I going to be able to fix you, right? So pause this video if you need, write down on a piece of paper, Google Docs, wherever the case may be, your individual problems, right? And once you have them identified, click back on the video. Now that you have those and you have the list of individual issues jotted down, I'm going to give some basic things and basic advice specifically on how to solve those things, right? So the first one will be, let's say, overtrading. Now, what is your protocol and your solution specifically to overtrading, right? How do we basically limit ourselves to overtrade, right? So there's multiple tactics I will cover in my Discord to my members, and I tell them this all the time. When someone comes to me, hey, bro, I simply just can't step away. What do I do, right? So on a technical basis, right, the biggest and the fastest way, right, you guys can step away after taking a loss is the moment, no matter how you feel, no matter what is happening, the moment and the millisecond that you either get stopped out on a trade or your trade hits take profit, I want you guys to do nothing. I literally want you guys to do nothing but X out of Google Chrome or whatever browser you use, close off everything, or just shut off your computer, flat out and simple. I'm literally talking. I'm not talking about 5 minutes after. I'm not talking about 3 minutes after. The moment your trade either hits take profit or hits your stop loss, go to Windows or MacBook, whatever, press click the button that says shut down your laptop. I don't want you to do anything but that. Literally anything but that. Now, Once the market closes, now listen up very carefully. Once the market closes, right, and it's just a time in which you physically can't trade, you come back, right? You leave your long and stop loss, like your short position with your stop loss to take profit, or your long position with your stop loss and take profit mapped out, so you know exactly where your execution was. You shut off your computer. You come back an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, whenever market closes, on a fresh mind. You sit down at your laptop or at your desktop, wherever, and then from there, I want you to identify and journal why and what were the characteristics that trade had specifically that allowed you to make money. And when you do this, you can't half-ass it. You can't say, okay, well, there was a bullish fair value gap and I entered long. What are you, a dickhead? Okay, there was a bullish fair value gap and I went long. Are you a dickhead? You are a cunt if that is what your journaling looks like. And that is ultimately why you were failing. Instead of having, oh, bullish fair value gap, I went long. Instead, right? Well, on the higher time frame was indicating a long bias and long narrative. So I dropped down on the lower time frame. I spotted a liquidity sweep. I spotted a break of structure. I waited for the rebalance. And this is ultimate sauce. Ask yourself and journal how you felt in that moment right before you entered, right, and as you were in the position, and after the trade hit take profit. Example. Okay, well, we went into the market with a long-based narrative. On the higher time frame was indicating longs. I dropped down on a lower time frame. I waited for internal confirmation. I saw a liquidity sweep. I saw a market structure shift. I saw a rebalance into a inefficiency, also known as a fair value gap. And then from there, I slapped my entry on with proper risk. My trade hit take profit, and the way that I felt specifically in that trade was nervous because we saw price accumulate near where my break even was or near where my stop loss was. Then price went up. Now, you need to then create a solution based off of how you felt, and what to do better next time. And this is ultimately why you are failing, is because these are things you do not take into account. The whole basis of trading is why we did something, right? I like this, and I like saying this specific sentence that I constantly repeat to every single one of my trading Discord members. We are scientists in the marketplace, right? We create a hypothesis, and based off of our decision making, we get paid. If we have a good decision, we make a good decision, we get paid more money. If we make a bad decision, the market takes our money. So we are essentially scientists in the marketplace. We create a hypothesis and we act on that hypothesis. The problem is how would a scientist know how to conduct his hypothesis better if he never self-reflected on what he did right or wrong, right? So these are individual things you guys need to identify. And once we have the issues or the reasons on why we did actions, we know for the next time, okay, well, I did this last time and it ended up working out or ended up not making me money. So let me do this thing or let me not do this thing. But the problem is you guys fail to have data based off of actions that you have done in the marketplace. And this is why you fail. How do you expect to have pattern recognition specifically of what happens and what goes on in the marketplace if you have no original data in the first place, right? That's like a that's like a student trying to take a quiz but hasn't studied or doesn't even know what the topic is on for that quiz. Like, imagine you walked into high school one day or middle school, right? And your teacher was like, "Okay, class, this is a quiz. We haven't learned about it. We know nothing about it, but here's the quiz. And if you don't pass, I'm going to punch you in the face and take your money and beat your grandma up." And then you're sitting there like a dickhead in your desk and you're like, how the fuck am I supposed to get a good grade on this test? I don't even know what the topic is. I haven't studied for it. I don't know anything. No shit, Sherlock. Of course you're going to fail and do bad on that test. It's the same thing with trading. You go into the marketplace with no statistical data, no edge, right? No identity of what previously you have done that worked, and then what to do better next time. And then you ask yourself, well, Why isn't anything working? That's exactly why nothing's working. Because you have no statistical edge or data, right? Everything is backed by data and trading, right? If I know X and Y and Z criteria gets met on a normal, consistent basis, I act specifically on X, Y, and Z criteria. And this is what a trading model is, right? So the biggest thing with overtrading is having the identity of all those things, right? The biggest thing specifically, and the fastest way to simply solve overtrading is what? I'm quizzing you guys right now. Pause the video if you need to. Is what? Sitting down at your laptop, taking the trade, the moment in which you act on that trade, you either win or you lose, right? I don't even want you guys to hesitate for a second. The second your trade either hits stop loss, take profit, you immediately close your laptop, you close your computer, you shut down everything, and you come back when market closes, or for the next and the following session when you have a clear mind. And if you don't even have the self-discipline to do that, my friend, I can't really help you. Like, seriously, this is the honest reality. If you can't find the self-discipline to just do what I said, how do you expect to ever become profitable? If you can't just click a button on a screen, right? Shut down my laptop. Okay, easy. Easier said than done. But if you can't do that, seriously, like, you're just cooked. There's no really solution for you. You either eat shit, and you eat shit miserably for a long period of time, or you take the losing trade, you shut down your laptop or your computer. Awesome. I come back the next session on a clear mind, or I come back after market open and I journal why I did things, why I was wrong, why I was right, what to do better next time, how I felt in that moment, what were the characteristics in which I felt that moment, what did I feel after, how did I feel after, what was my mentality after. Did I feel like shit? Did I say trading might not be for me? Did I self-sabotage myself in any way? And if you don't do these things, I'm sorry. I can't help you. I can only help people that truly just want better for themselves. And you need to ask yourself right now, do I truly want better for myself? And do I want the life that I envision for myself? And if the answer is yes, you need to do all the actions I constantly talk about. And if you don't do that, expect to be the 90% of the demographic of traders that fail. Because the statistic of traders that fail are relatively high. So you need to be truthful and honest with yourself and ask yourself, what do I do differently than the 90% that lose? Now, the habits that I just told you are much substantially different than the 90% of statistics of day traders that fail. A lot of people seek a magic solution, a magic pill in trading, and they think there's a, oh, I have this or I have that, or I have this indicator that will get me dick and ball strategy, 1,000% gain. Trading's not like that, bro. As someone who makes a lot of money off trading, of course, hands down, there are edges in which you can have that are better than other edges, right? That have a higher win percentage. Yes, I can 100% get behind that. But the thing is, no matter how good your edge is, if you don't practice the habits that I'm talking about now, you won't ever make it. You literally will never make it. So you need to ask yourself, do I want this? And if the answer is yes, you need to tell yourself, I will do every single aspect and action that Salomon talks about on and at the best of my ability in order to conquer trading. That's the reality of this. So that's overtrading. Now I want to get into fear. So another good, very good one is fear, right? And if fear is applicable to you, okay, listen up. So typically people are fearful of the unknown, right? People tend to fear the unknown, right? Since the dawn of human existence, why were cavemans afraid of fire? Because they've never seen it before. They would sit there and be like, oh my God, banging their chest like a monkey when they saw a little bit of flames. And the reason on why that was is simply because of the fact that it is the unknown. If aliens were to come to our planet right now, we would be scared shitless because they're aliens. They're unknown. We don't know what they're going to do, what their plan is, right? Every single aspect of fear is based off of unknown, right? This is ultimately why people fear death, right? Because you don't know what's going to happen. The solution and the fastest solution to solving fear is getting a better strategy or collecting data based off of your strategy, right? Because the power that you can have over backtesting your model specifically is the fact of removing the uncertainty and the unknown and the fear, right? How could you be scared of your model if you know, if you just apply yourself, you get a 50, 60, 70% win rate at an average 1 to 1, 1 to 2, 1 to 3, 1 to 4 risk reward ratio? You're less scared because you know, like, hey, I just back tested this data for 3, 6, 12 months. So I really know what I'm doing now. Why would I be scared? What is there to be scared about? I've already done this time in, time out. Now, that's the first type of fear. The second type of fear is the fear of executing. And you need to ask yourself, why am I fearful of executing? What are the reasons I'm fearful of executing? Is it because I'm trading with the last money I have and I'm spending my last dollars on this last funded account? If that's the case, you need to go get a job. You're a grown man, you're a grown ass man with no money. You should be ashamed of yourself. Go get a job. There's nothing wrong with the job. Everyone had to face it. I had to do Instacart, DoorDash. I had to do everything. Social media as a whole has made having a job corny, or, oh, he's in the matrix, or he's in this, or there's no shame in having a job. Where the shame lies is you staying there, right, and not wanting better for you or more for yourself. That's where it's shameful. But there's no shame in working and being at a job when you are trying to build yourself. How else do you expect to build yourself? So if that's the type of fear you have specifically to execute, you need to ask yourself, why do you have fear of executing? Is it because I'm over leveraging, which that's the next thing we're going to talk about? Or is it because of the fact that I simply have no more money? If this account gets blown, I'm cooked. If that's the case, you need a job or you need a source of income. I'm keeping it 100 with you. No one talks about how you need a job in trading. You need a job before you become profitable. It's like you are going to go through way more years of struggling if you don't have a source of income. So if you are in the age group of 16 to 25 right now with no job, if you're above that and have no job, my G, you have a lot more store. I mean, you're kind of older, but if you're 16 to 25 with no job and no money, you need a job, and you will succeed at a much faster rate if you simply just get a job. I worked DoorDash, Instacart. I worked at a Middle Eastern restaurant. I worked at Jersey Mike's. Where else did I work? I was a barber for a very long time. I did everything. I did everything. So there's no shame, right? And I felt like shit in those moments. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, because I was in high school and I come from a relatively wealthy area, right? Everyone and their mother parent funded. They have money, whatever the case may be. I wasn't one of those kids though. I was a kid specifically, right, that their parents were well off, but I wasn't well off, right? My parents are well off. That's something I'm not ashamed to say. Of a lot of people are ashamed to say their parents have money. My parents have money, you know. But the thing is they raised me off the basis of saying, hey, we have money. You don't have money. You need to build and figure it out yourself. And I love them so much that they did that for me. Because if they didn't, would have no dreams or aspirations. And a lot of things I see is, even when you see your parents struggling to pay the bills, even when you see your parents having to wake up at 6 in the morning to go work that job, you still don't have the balls to go get a job. You deserve to fail. I would argue I would have succeeded at a 3 to 5x faster rate if I had to see my parents go to their job 6 in the morning, at Subway or at Domino's or at X, Y, and Z shitty ass job, minimum wage based job, even 20, 30, $40 an hour. If your parents are making less than 80 grand a year right now, you need to get the fuck up off your ass. And you need to be ashamed of yourself that you don't have a job right now. Oh, but it's hard. It's hard to find a job. You're gonna fail. You're going to fail in everything. You can make up all the excuses you want in this life. Simply, this is the honest reality. You can genuinely make up all the excuses that you want in this life. Oh, it's hard to find a job in this economy, or it's hard to find a job where I am locally, or yeah, I'll do it, but I'm gonna do it next week. I'm gonna build out my I'm gonna build out my resume. I'm gonna do this or that. You're a straight bitch. You are a straight bitch. If no one tells you, I will tell you. You are fat, you are lazy, you are unemployed, you have no money, and you are a fucking bitch. Genuinely. And you don't deserve any of this shit until you change the way that you think. Seriously, you all are cowards. You all don't want it bad enough. You're depressed. You look like shit. Uh, you're an embarrassment. Seriously, you are genuinely an embarrassment. Now, the thing is when I say that, I want you guys to be very careful on how you perceive it. Because you should be embarrassed with where you are. Does that mean it's over for you? No. You still have so much potential, but the change needs to happen now and after this video. Like, do you want it or do you not want it? I don't understand. Because when I was from the age group of 12 to 16 and a half, those years that I was unprofitable, I was working multiple jobs at times. I was 15, 16 years old, working multiple jobs. And you are pushing 20, 25, not wanting to get employment because you don't think it's cool. Well, TikTok told me unemployed is the move, and unemployed, haha, so funny, unemployed. You deserve eternal slavery, and you will be poor for the rest of your life. And you are a dickhead that is a sheep who listens to other people. You moron. You genuinely embarrassment of a moron. I will always keep it real with you guys. Some of you guys might perceive the words that I'm saying as ego. Some of you guys might perceive the words that I say as, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, or you guys ego. I keep it real with you. I tell you the shit that you don't want to hear. Because unfortunately, someone has to do it. Not every one of, even as my viewers, my current viewers right now, out of every single one of you guys, some of you guys might not make it. And the honest solution and to identify your problem specifically is asking yourself, am I trying my hardest? And if the answer is no, I'm sorry. No video on YouTube is going to help you. Nothing's going to help you. Self-application is the ultimate key to success. Those two words, self-application, when you apply yourself based off of information, you end up becoming successful. That's the key to everything. That's the key to the game of life. But until you do that, you can't expect a different outcome. You can't expect a YouTube video or a motivational video to help you. You can't expect someone or X, Y, and Z person to help you. I'm a great mentor, right? I love mentoring people. I love my Discord members. I love waking up to seeing multiple payouts, multiple funded accounts getting passed. I love waking up to all that. But the thing is even if you join my mentorship and don't apply yourself and have no ability to self-apply yourself, you can't expect any change. And don't expect any change. Seriously. I mean, obviously, any person that comes into my life at this point in time gets affected positively, right? There's a reason why we have 5 stars on WAP. Out of over 150 reviews, we only have 5 stars because people listen to me and listen to the words I have to say, and their life gets fucking changed. So, with all of this information you are currently digesting, if you don't apply yourself, I'm sorry, you will never succeed in anything. Seriously, you're just destined for failure. Not my fault, not my problem. I got shit to figure it out. I got my family members to focus on. I got my friends to focus on. I got my philanthropy to focus on. I'm starting to build wells in Afghanistan, in Pakistan, in India. I'm starting to get into all that stuff. I have real issues to figure out. I need to make $100 million before 30 years old. These are all things I need to do and I need to accomplish. So if someone comes to me and says, oh, well, I don't really want to do this, or I don't want to backtest, or I don't feel like doing this, or I want to learn this way, or I want to do this, or I want to do that. Cool. I don't care. I don't care to help you. Because if you, right, really want to change, you just simply listen to people that know what they're talking about and apply yourself, self-application, right? Apply yourself based off of the words that other people say that are clearly successful and clearly have a proven track record of other people getting success by listening to them. Go to any one of my trade breakdown videos. I show the Discord on the first page, right? So the third and final topic I want to talk about, we talked about overtrading, we talked about fear, and now I want to talk about overleveraging. Now, simply, you need to identify why you are overleveraging, right? What are the root causes of you overleveraging? Why are you overleveraging? What is causing you to overleverage? Now, typically, in most case scenarios, the reason why majority over leverage is simply because of the fact that they tie the money in trading based off their P&L to real life materialism. If I can just pay my rent off with this one payout, or if I get this one payout, I can quit my job, or if I get this one payout, I can do X, Y, and Z, or if I don't pass my funded account by Friday, or I'm going to pass my funded account by X day, or I'm going to get a withdrawal by X day, right? There's two case scenarios in which you end up over leveraging. Either one, you tie trading to the materialism aspect, or two, you tie trading based off a time frame. Now, the first thing with over leveraging specifically based off of tying materialism in is the money specifically in trading is never yours until it is withdrawn. Mental fuck there. It's 3 a.m. right now. My bad, guys. But withdrawn specifically to your bank account. So do not associate any money in trading with materialism. I can buy X thing, I can buy X car, I can get X thing for my mother, I can get or quit my job, or I can do X, Y, and Z. These are all things you need to be very, very worrisome about while doing. Because the moment you do that, you don't think it when you're in the trade, but psychologically in the back of your mind, those thoughts start flickering when you're in a trade, right? It's like a little devil sitting on your shoulder telling you, oh, well, you said you could pay your rent off this month if you just get that payout. So just maybe like risk like 1 or 2 more mini contracts or a couple more micro contracts. Or, well, you said that you would have quit your job by X time. So just risk a little bit more so you can quit your job this month. Or risk a little bit more so you can do X, Y, and Z thing. So that little devil sitting on your shoulder. And the thing you guys need to recognize is when you have that devil sitting on your shoulder, it is so hard to become successful because that little devil will talk all day long on your shoulder. And then you end up blowing your account. So you need to identify what is causing you to over leverage. Is it I'm tying trading to materialism? Is it I want to quit my job? Or is it specifically I have set time frames on when I want to achieve? The moment I removed time frames and time constraints on simply when I wanted to achieve something in trading is when I started seeing the most amount of progression. You all simply say, I see it with my Discord members all day long, and I literally yell at them if I see this. They'll say, I can't wait to get funded by Friday. And I sit there, and for 3 minutes, I have to explain to them like they're a toddler why they cannot say that. You cannot over leverage specifically in trading as a whole. And what causes you to tick to over leverage in trading is simply tying trading to either materialism or tying trading to a time frame or a time frame specifically on when you want to achieve things. I'm going to get a funded account by Friday, or I'm going to get that payout by X day, or I want to get a payout by next week, or I want to do X, Y, and Z by X date. The moment in which you set time frame, time limits, or want to achieve something by X set time is when everything goes to shit. Because, for example, let's say, as me, as a trader, I say, okay, I want to pass a funded account by Friday. Thursday comes along, you're not anywhere near passing that funded account. What's the devil on your shoulder going to tell you to do? Well, if you just up to 4 or 5 mini contracts instead of trading 5 micros, you could probably pass today. You know what, devil on your shoulder? Or devil on my shoulder? I'm going to listen to you. Why on God's green earth would you listen to the devil on your shoulder? Seriously. Oh yeah, let me listen to the devil on my shoulder and let me risk 5 mini contracts on this trade. Boom, your account ends up getting blown. So simply identify what your problems are and then create solutions based off of them. At the end of this video, I want you directly after this video on that whatever platform, whatever thing that you took notes on, list down all of your problems that you are facing externally and internally in trading. If you're fat, say on a piece of paper, right? I am fat. There's nothing wrong with being fat. There is a problem with staying fat. If you overtrade, I am an overtrader. There's nothing wrong with being an overtrader. There is a problem with staying as an overtrader. If you overleverage, you get the point. There is nothing wrong with the certain things that you struggle with at the moment. What is wrong is staying and doing and staying consistent with doing those negative things. That is where there's an issue. I will repeat what I just said. There is nothing wrong with the negative things you are doing right now, but there is something wrong when you consistently, repetitively do those mistakes you know are avoidable. For example, overtrading, overleveraging, being fat, not controlling your mind on basic things externally outside of trading. Let me scroll TikTok 15 more minutes. Let me go watch that Kai Cenat stream. Let me go do X, Y, and Z thing. This is where your fuck ups are because the loop never ends. You face the same issues day in, day out. And like I mentioned, there's nothing wrong with being fat. There is a problem with staying fat. There's nothing wrong with being broke. There is a problem staying broke. There's nothing wrong working that job right now to get more money. There is a problem with staying at that job. There's nothing wrong with any negative occurrence you can possibly talk about now, but there is a problem staying in that problem, in that constant loop. So do all of the things that I have basically outlined on this YouTube video, and I promise you, watch your life change in the next 1 to 3 months for the better. Anyways, that is the end of the video. I love you guys. I will see you guys in the next lecture. That was episode, I believe, 13. If you guys need anything from me, my DMs are always open. My Discord's links in the bio if you're trying to learn the best possible trading strategy on the face of the planet Earth. I love you guys. I hope you got some value out of this video, and I will see you guys tomorrow for tomorrow's psychological lecture. Peace.